Hello, dreamers. I'm your host, Marco of Dreaming in Fashion. Welcome to another week of this podcast where we discuss all things fashion. So, let's start the show. So, first up on my list that I want to talk about is Little Nas X. We want to talk about his style here. So, his stylist name is Hoodoo Musa. I guess that's how you pronounce that. So her working background is from Europe and Asia. So lately, I know that you guys been seeing him on like the red carpet, seeing him doing photo shoots and different things like that, performances. His style is very like a futuristic Liberace cowboy. So with like the fringe, all the bold colors, all the bold prints, all of the I guess I don't know what the fabric is, like vinyl, I guess, like nylon. I don't know. I don't know. Are you guys feeling it? That's the main thing here. Are you guys feeling his look? To me, it's very bold. Um, it's very bold. That's all I can say. It's very bold. I don't like a lot of colors personally. I don't think that I could wear anything like that. Each is all. I would wear something with fringe on it. I love fringe. I'll give him that. I do like the fringe aspect of it. And a lot of his things are like suits. Like, he always had like top and bottoms. If he's going to have like a shortcut blazer up top, he's going to have a pant to match. So I guess that's his stylist and that's her thing. So, hey. Like I said, each his own. Not for me though. So next up on my list, speaking of clothing and styling and different things like that, we're going to talk about H&M testing out clothing rental. So around November, maybe like mid-November or the end of November, I'm not real sure on the particular dates when this happened, but H&M started this clothing rental thing. So basically, consumers can rent like garments for 350 kroner, which is equal to $37 in the US. So, and that's on a weekly basis. And these clothes are refurbished, and they're at a flagship store in the Sergels Tork Square in central Stockholm. So here's my take on this whole rental thing with these clothing from H&M. I personally think that these clothing are clothing that people were bringing back to H&M. So if you've ever shopped at H&M, they have this thing where, hey, please bring in your old clothing and we'll give you a 15% discount. So what I think that this is, I think that these are all refurbished clothing, and that would, when they were having people bring these clothing back, they were, getting certain pieces, whether they was from a certain collection that's like non-existing anymore, So I personally think that this is all clothing from people donating, basically, and that was the reason why they probably was having people bring back all of that clothing. So, and they was just picking out the best pieces from all of those clothing or those clothing items. So that's just what I think. Are you guys feeling that? Are you feeling refurbished like H&M or for a rental? I personally wouldn't think of doing that, or actually renting from them, because when I think of H&M clothing, I think of it as fast fashion, as I would think of like, Forever 21, Zara, and on and on. The list goes on with fast fashion. So I wouldn't think of wanting to rent anything from them. I just wouldn't. I just think of it as fast fashion. It gets old, it gets worn, it tears up really easily. So I wouldn't be renting fast fashion. But you guys, you tell me what you think. Would you rent, clothes from H&M on a weekly basis for $35? All right. So next up on my list is a designer spotlight that I want to highlight this particular designer because I was so engulfed in her story. So I came across her on YouTube, and she really just talked about the fashion industry as an African American fashion designer, and her struggles, and and being in New York City and different things like that. So her name is Daniela Tabois. I hope that I'm pronouncing that right. I'll just spell the name for you all, so you all could go to her actual Instagram page or to her YouTube channel and take a look at it. Her name is spelled Daniela, and her last name is spelled Tabois. So, just to elaborate just a little bit, as I mentioned, she is a black fashion designer living in New York City. She talked about her struggles being a fashion designer, a black fashion designer in New York City. And, her story is just really, really heartfelt. So I won't tell all the details, but you guys definitely should check out her YouTube channel and just hear her story. I really think, and I love her work. Her clothing is impeccable. It's impeccably sewn. You can tell that she has a lot of experience in the industry. And that was another thing that caught my attention, was just her craft and how knowledgeable she was. So you guys, make sure you go check out her channel. Make sure that you subscribe and you help her and you support her. All right. Next up on my list is the British Fashion Awards. So let's talk about the British Fashion Awards. So two of my favorite people were at the British Fashion Awards. Now, I saw the picture on Instagram. When you're on Instagram, you're just kind of scrolling and you're just like, oh, you see like pictures you just like, and you really don't get into the caption. Well, at least I don't really get into the caption that much. And just so happened, when I really kind of got into the caption, I did not know that Janet Jackson, yes, Janet Jackson, Janet Jackson, presented Rihanna with her first fashion award for her Fenty line. So basically, Janet was just kind of like she surprised Rihanna, and she presented her with the Urban Luxe Award. And she basically said that she was so proud of Rihanna for her boldness, her her way to be an activist and to being a trendsetter and different things like that. I thought that was a pretty dope moment. That's like the old bringing in the new, and that's how it should be. If you're an older artist, older designer, whatever, you should be welcoming in someone that's newer, that's in the industry, that's really doing something and making moves. All right, let's move on to my next topic. So my next topic is, we're going to talk about Lizzo's stylist. So Lizzo has been all in the media for the past couple of days. Well, she's everywhere. Let's just be quite frank about it. She's everywhere. So her stylist, Marco Monroe, basically, he said that she's this generation's Madonna. So he basically says that she has that shift on pop culture. And he just said that he didn't know that it was going to escalate so quickly as it did. And he was just saying that we are just not used to seeing someone with her body shape carry clothes in such confidence. And I agree. Lizzo, if you've been following Lizzo from the beginning, she's very confident. She's just very confident to be her size. I will say that no matter what her body looks like, she's just a very confident girl. So when I started getting into Lizzo, which almost been like a year and a half, almost seemed like almost 2 years here, maybe even, yeah, it's been 2 years. And she's always been provocative, all like on social media. So he just basically said that she's this generation's Madonna. She's provocative, and he kind of styles her accordingly. He basically said it really doesn't matter what you wear as long as you have confidence. And then it just says that he just basically says, a lot of the times he have a certain idea where her body shape should fit into, but styling don't have to be by the rules. So at the end of the day, he basically said that he just want her to feel good and sexy. So, I can't really knock him for that. Lizzo, great. I think that she has great style too, as well, to be a plus size girl. That's just my take on it. So, next topic here. We're going to talk about you guys' favorite brand. And I know that you guys are tired of hearing me talk about this or talk about them, but they keep showing up in the media almost like on a monthly basis, seems like it, or a weekly basis, seems like it. So Gucci is suing over 3 dozen websites for counterfeiting products. So basically, they're suing them and accusing them for selling knockoff shoes, accessories, clothes, and of appropriating its brand's name. Now, if you are a person of fashion and you follow fashion, you know that designers knock each other off. It's just the times that we live in with social media and different things like that. Fashion gets knocked off like it's nobody's business these days. And I don't understand why they think that they could sue somebody or sue a company and then feel like that they're not going to continue to knock them off, or someone else is not just going to come along because they can't afford your clothes. So they're going to find somebody, or they're going to find someone or find somewhere that they can get it for at a cheaper price. And, and they're going to claim it to be real. That's just kind of how it goes. Now, I don't agree with people doing that, but I understand that that's what goes on. And this whole sue thing, I think it's funny. Now, with that being said, remember Dapper Dan? I talked about him on a couple of episodes ago, and how they basically, that's what he did to them. Now they've hired him to collaborate with them because basically they were getting called out for different things. So how ironic, now they are basically suing people. I just think it's crazy. It's completely crazy. And it doesn't make sense. It's fashion. People are gonna knock you off. It's just what it is when you're an artist. If you're the original or you're the originator, you don't have to worry about any of that if you're a true innovative and a true originator. So I'll just leave that there. Right, next topic. Let's talk about something I stumbled across and I gagged to the floor, literally. So, I was on Instagram and I was scrolling once again, and I came across an Adidas body bag, and supposedly the Adidas body bag belonged to Robert Mugabe. He was the Zimbabwe's ex-president. And basically they said that when he passed away, they flew his body from Singapore in an Adidas body bag. Now, this body bag, I don't know. I didn't know if I should love it or if I should be like, oh, that's creepy as hell. But after reading and researching the story, Robert actually was a big connoisseur of the actual brand of Adidas. So he always was wearing like Adidas clothing, jumpsuits, and different things like that. So apparently that is where that came from. Now, after researching a little bit more, I later found out that this wasn't true. So sorry to break it to you guys. There is no such thing as an Adidas body bag. I was kind of like, a little bit upset about it because I was like, dang, that was kind of dope. I liked it actually, just a little bit. It was a little creepy, but I liked it. And so basically, this website basically did like I guess, I don't know, they scanned this person, they did like a back image search or something like that, which led back to a website that edits and photoshops pictures, and they doctor the pictures up and make them look dope. So they said that it wasn't true. So that was kind of like a spoiler. I was like, wow, I thought it was dope, and that would be dope if brands did that. It would be a little bit bougetto, but hey, who knows? You know how that goes. All right, let's talk about all of you guys' favorite girl, favorite artist, and that would be Beyonce. Let's talk about her cover in Elle magazine. So, this cover, I really kind of like the pictures from the magazine, especially the pictures from when she was like in a little bodega. She had on like this cream, it was an Adidas jacket with this like bright orange dress to the floor. It had this peasantry type of look to it. This it was like a, let me rephrase that. It wasn't like, well, it was like that old feel to it, like vintage type of look to it. I actually like it. And I was like, oh, okay, Beyonce, I see you with a little swag. Now, I thought that this cover was better than her Vogue cover, because it seemed like it was better styled. A lot of the stuff, she was mixing the streetwear with that whole vintage, I don't know, with that pagan-y type of dresses that she was wearing. But I liked it. I'll just say that I liked it. She was rocking those sneakers. She was rocking her Ivy Park braids, with the Ivy Park beading in her hair. I actually liked it. Hey, what can I say? I liked it. I can't. Usually it's a hit or a miss with Beyonce. Most of the time, it's a miss for me when it comes to styling, because I don't know if they just don't know how to style her right, or if her look is like way dumbed down to me. But I will say, when she performs on stage, I like her costumes though. When she performs on stage, I feel like that's more dramatic and that's more Beyonce to me than when she does fashion. That's just my personal opinion. Now, the next up on my list, let's talk about my girl here. Let's talk about Cardi B's cover. And her cover was on the front of Vogue magazine. Now, I kind of got into a little spat on Twitter with someone who's probably not a fan of Cardi B, obviously. And they were just saying that this was the worst cover ever for the magazine, the worst Vogue cover ever. And I basically told him that I've seen worse, to be honest. And the cover wasn't fashionable. I'll say that the cover wasn't fashionable, and the pose was very awkward. I love seeing her daughter, with her on the cover. I like seeing kids. You can't, the kids are innocent. You can't really talk bad about kids. And it was just Cardi's pose. Her leg was like this awkward shape. Her right leg, if you look at it, it was bent like this awkward type of shape, and I didn't like that pose. And I was like, I've seen Cardi B out in the street. Where's the glamour for this photo shoot? Like, I didn't see it in there. But I did stumble across some more pictures online, I guess from that shoot. I did like those dresses, and I'm like, why they didn't use these pictures for the actual covers? It was like she was up on like this rooftop. She had on this like dope gown. It was kind of abstract-y. I'm like, why they didn't use this picture for the cover of the magazine? And she was posed correctly. It looked better than that actual cover. But hey, I don't know why they chose that particular picture. Maybe they just wanted to bring attention to the magazine. That's what I think that they wanted to do. Hey, that's just my opinion. So, guys, that is the podcast for this particular week. So, remember, you can listen to this podcast on Spotify, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, TuneIn, YouTube, and Google Podcasts. So just make sure that you guys comment down below. Make sure that you rate my podcast. Make sure that you guys are subscribing on YouTube. And also make sure that you are dropping down into the comments. If you disagree with me, let me know your thoughts. And let me know what you think. Let's just keep the discussion going. All right, guys. That's the podcast for the week. And until next time, keep dreaming.